As consumers, we're continuously bombarded with brand names, advertisements and logos. Our purchases, as individuals and as businesses, largely depend on what we interpret the brand to represent through colour schemes, shop fitting and atmosphere. So what makes a product stand out from the rest? I'm Cathy Davis, and today on Good Business, we're looking at the world of marketing and merchandising and how to give your product and business the edge on your competitors. A Nielsen survey of 29,000 people in 58 countries discovered that when it comes to advertising and branding, Australians are the least likely to be won over. It's been observed that Australians tend to have a cynical side when confronted with marketing techniques, and we like to consider ourselves as intellectual shoppers. So how do small businesses take the next step to utilise and enhance their brand without compromising integrity? To discuss these issues, I'm joined today by Donna Bond, a business marketing researcher with Research by Design, and Brian Brown from Better Business Now. Brian, how has business branding and image development changed over the years?
Sure, look, it has changed over years, and it really comes back down to people's perception and, again, environmental issues and what's happening in the world. So we've talked about, health and safety issues, environmental. If we go back to, say, for example, the 70s, when car manufacturers, it was all more about how fast can we make cars go, and petrol wasn't an issue. Now today, it's about economy and health and safety. So that sort of changed perception over that time.
How important to a business is merchandising and how it creates an environment for the clients?
Sure, look, merchandising is very important. Merchandising is really your silent salesperson, and it's designed to sell products. If we look at that car showroom as an example, it's how they set up, how people have an experience, and it's about creating an experience for the person to come in and wanting to buy that product or service.
When we talk about developing and promoting a business, it's important to also consider the business-to-business market. Research by Design specialises in this field. Donna, how important is it, is an immediate connection to the brand or logo, and what makes an effective brand or logo?
Well, yeah, the whole point of branding is to connect with your customers. And ideally, you want that connection to happen as soon as possible. I guess most business owners would be familiar with their business plan. That's a document that they have and that they've written, which identifies or describes their business. It describes the market they're in. It talks about their business objectives and also identifies some strategies for how to achieve those objectives. So essentially branding, so your logo plus other branding elements, are a way for you as a business owner to bring that business plan to life in the mind of your customers. And, so it's like a bridge, if you like, bridge between you and customers. And you want that bridge to be positive, strong, ideally. So what happens is that you promise something in your brand, it's experienced as a positive, and therefore you build, I guess, a trust between yourself and a customer, which then drives loyalty.
And how does effective marketing and branding change the perception of a business? Like, for instance, a bad logo and bad marketing and branding.
Yeah, and it's funny, in particular with the businesses that we work with. So businesses can either market to the public or they can either market to other businesses. And what we've found in our experience is that if businesses are marketing to the public, they sort of have a better handle on branding. They also think it's more important. For the businesses that are marketing to other businesses, they sometimes don't feel it's a big deal. So what we've found in some of those businesses, what will happen is that we'll walk into a shop front, so we'll get one sort of impression about their visual identity and impression about their brand. Walk outside, have a look at the signage, and you get another completely different impression. The flyers that they're sending out, advertising promotions or products that they've got or discounts, have been designed by a graphic designer with a different sort of look and feel. So again, somebody driving past with that flyer in their hand has a look at the shop front and thinks, maybe this is actually a different business altogether, drives on and you've lost that customer.
How do you know what will appeal to customers?
You need to talk to them. Yeah. That's critical. It's critical. Your brand only exists in the minds of the customer. It doesn't exist anywhere else. And what you think your brand is will be completely different or could be completely different to how a customer thinks of your brand.
Thanks very much, Donna. Brian, do you believe that a large part of client and consumer preference comes down to the appeal of the label or logo?
Yeah, look, surprisingly so. A good logo and label will build good credibility and trust in consumers. If we look at something like Mercedes, when we think about Mercedes, something we think about luxury, business, success. So yes, absolutely it does.
And Donna, what's the importance of effective shop fitting and merchandising?
Well, there are two more branding elements that a business can use to communicate what it is that it does to customers. So my advice to business owners would be to take like a critical look at, their merchandising, their shop fittings, and consider what messages are they sending about their business to their potential customers. Because, if you stand for something like reliability, is that the message that they're going to get when they walk in store? Or if you stand for something like energy, are you conveying that effectively? I think an in-store experience is a perfect opportunity to get your message across to customers. They're captive.
In the new age of affordable travel and online shopping, the average customer has taken on a new meaning. Businesses are communicating and targeting a wider range of consumers, all with their own independent habits, needs and preferences. Brian, are the needs of the public changing too rapidly for businesses to keep up?
It's a very good question, and the short answer will be yes for most businesses. Big businesses, yes, they employ people to keep up to date with this, and the public is changing, and a lot of this is internet driven of what we see, social media and things. Small businesses, yes, it's very hard for them to keep up.
Surveys have proven that an advertising commercial has an average 32% effectiveness with Australian consumers, while the global average sits at 55%. With certain marketing tools proving less than effective in Australian markets, promotional products provide a fresh advertising opportunity for businesses. Donna, why are there more traditional forms of marketing failing for some businesses?
Yeah, I think there's a few reasons, and it does vary across industry types and depending on the target audience that the business is going after. But I just want to sort of take out the traditional for a second and just look at why marketing might not be working or why marketing is failing for small businesses. And firstly, it may be because a business isn't clear in its own mind, in its own head, if you like, about what it is that it does and how it differs from its competitors. Because if you're not communicating that to customers, then there's no reason why they would choose you over another business. The other thing is, even if you get that right and you begin to communicate that and brand yourself, you may do that in an inconsistent way. So the customer isn't getting a clear impression of what it is that you do and how you stand out. So it might be a disjointed message or a confusion that they see you as. And so again, your marketing efforts may fail. Thirdly, a reason why marketing might not work, even if you get those two things right, you might be talking to your customers through the wrong channel, and that's where traditional comes into play. We have dealt with a lot of businesses that have been very slow and very reluctant to develop an online presence and to take advantage of social media strategies. And in a day and age where customers do so much of their searching for products online, word of mouth is becoming a lot more important than word of mouth.
I love that, word of mouth versus word of mouth. First time I've heard that. What are some other ways that businesses can make themselves stand out and be recognised by potential clients?
Yeah, I think creating a dialogue with customers is one way they can do that. And like I said before, using social media like Facebook if you're marketing directly to customers. If you're marketing to other businesses, Twitter is probably a more effective medium for you. Another great way is to use podcasts and video marketing. So you can get your customers to use a product and film them, record that, put that on your website. You can also show somebody who's actually experienced your service talking about the same thing.
Thanks, Donna. Great tips. Brian, some final words from you. Is it imperative for small businesses to step up in brand design and marketing to compete with larger corporations?
Absolutely, Kathy. It's very imperative. Good branding, good marketing will make a small business look bigger. It'll build trust, it'll build credibility and make you look more professional.
Thanks, Brian. And Donna, your final tips on marketing and merchandising for companies looking to develop their business-to-business relations?
Yeah, look, I'd like to point out again a point I've already made earlier, and that is that a business needs to really understand what it is that it does and how it stands apart from its competitors in its branding. They need to get that right, and the branding will stem from there. The other thing is, I would point out that never assume that your customers are thinking about your brand the way that you want them to. I can practically guarantee from the research that I've done in the business-to-business space that there will always be a gap. So for some businesses it's a large gap, for other businesses it's a relatively small gap. But your job as a business owner is to figure out where that gap is by talking to your customers and then fix it.
Thanks, Donna. Well, we've certainly discovered that for businesses to establish themselves in their market, unique and catchy brand design is imperative in giving your business the edge. In order for small businesses to compete with larger competitors, distinctive marketing is paramount and can be achieved even on a small budget. I'd like to thank Brian and Donna and our guests on location who've contributed to a fascinating discussion today. For more information on this topic and our guests, log on to www.goodbusinesstv.com.au. Next week, Good Business takes a look at the benefits of franchising, how it can help you establish yourself as a business owner. I'm Kathy Davis. Thank you for watching Good Business.